My name is Dothy Mae Caldwell. I am 106 years old. And before you keep scrolling, I want you to sit with that number for just a moment. Not because it is impressive, not because I am proud of it, but because every single year of those 106 years came with a lesson. And most of those lessons, the real ones, the ones that actually kept me alive and sane and grateful, nobody ever wrote down anywhere. They did not teach them in school. They did not put them in magazines. And the people who lived them long enough to truly understand them, most of them are gone now. I am still here. So I am going to tell you what I know. Not because I have all the answers. I do not. But because I have had 106 years to watch what works and what destroys a person quietly from the inside. And if even one thing I say today saves you from a mistake that costs you decades, then sitting here talking to you is worth every breath it took. I was born Dothy Mae Caldwell in a time when life did not ask your permission before it got hard. We did not have much. Most families around us did not either. But there was something present in those early years that I have spent a long time searching for ever since, and that is the knowledge of how to genuinely take care of one another. Before I ever thought about taking care of myself, I was taking care of someone else. That was simply how life worked. You woke up, and the first question was never, what do I need today? It was, who needs something from me right now? I carried water before school. I swept floors before breakfast. I learned how to listen, truly listen, long before anyone taught me how to speak in a room full of people. I want you to understand what that kind of childhood does to a person. It does not break you. It builds you slowly, quietly, in ways you do not notice until you are much older and you look back and realize that every hard morning made your spine a little straighter. School was not always guaranteed for children like me. Some days you learned from books. Other days you learned by watching grown people survive impossible situations with nothing but their dignity and their faith intact. Both kinds of education shaped me. But I will tell you honestly, the second kind taught me more. I worked early in life, real work, the kind that makes your hands ache before noon and your back remind you of its existence every time you try to stand up straight. People today sometimes speak about hard work like it is something to escape from. I understand that. I do not judge it. But I want to tell you what hard work actually gave me, because nobody talks about this part. It gave me my mind. When your body is occupied with honest labor, your mind does not have room to fill itself with fear, comparison, or bitterness. Hard work is not just physical survival. It is mental protection. It kept me focused on what was directly in front of me, and that focus, sustained over decades, is one of the deepest secrets to a long and peaceful life. I'm married. I'm loved deeply. I've lost people I was certain I could not live without. I've buried friends whose voices I can still hear clearly if I sit quietly long enough. I lived through times that history books mention in one paragraph, but that real people lived inside for years, years of uncertainty, grief, and the kind of quiet fear that never fully announces itself but never fully leaves either. Life taught me patience, not the kind you choose. The kind that is pressed into you slowly by years of waiting for things to get better, watching them get worse first, and staying anyway. That kind of patience does not make you passive, it makes you unbreakable. Now, at 106 years old, I want to be honest with you the way I wish someone had been honest with me. I do not do everything I used to do. I do not run. I stopped rushing a very long time ago, and I can tell you plainly, stopping the rush was one of the best decisions I ever made. I do not type on little keyboards or stare at glowing screens all day. But I still use what I have, every single morning. I still get up. That alone, getting up, is something I never take for granted anymore. I still wash my face. I still walk slowly, holding on to what is near. Movement looks entirely different at 1/6 than it did at 30, but it still matters. Maybe it matters more now than it ever did, because now I know what the alternative feels like, and I choose movement every time. I eat simple food, food I recognize, greens, soup, root vegetables, a little fish when it is available. Nothing complicated. Nothing that comes in a package covered in words I cannot pronounce. Just food that makes my body feel steady and my stomach feel at peace. I do not eat much, but I eat with intention. Every meal is a quiet decision to keep going. And that intention, that small, daily choice to nourish yourself carefully, compounds over a lifetime in ways that no doctor can fully explain and no pill can fully replicate. People ask me about my mind more than they ask about anything else. I will not pretend I remember everything. That would not be honest, and I have lived too long to waste time on dishonesty. Some things have softened over the years. Some names take longer to find now. Some mornings the world feels a little further away before it comes back into focus. But here is what I do. Every single day, without exception. Some mornings I count slowly. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. Not to prove anything to anyone, just to remind myself that I am still here, that my mind is still working, that today is a day I am present for. I read a little, not long pages, not for hours, just enough to keep the words familiar. I read my Bible slowly, sometimes the same verse again and again, until it stops being words and starts being something I feel. Repetition keeps things alive. It keeps the pathways in your mind open and warm, the way keeping a fire going through the night keeps a room livable by morning. I sing, sometimes, not loud, just to myself, old hymns. Songs I learned before life got complicated, songs that live in a part of me that age has not been able to reach. Music reaches places that nothing else can touch. I believe that with everything I have, I stay away from anger. I learned this so long ago, I cannot remember the exact moment the lesson landed, but it landed hard enough that it has stayed with me ever since. Holding anger is heavy. It is the kind of weight that does not just sit on your shoulders. It settles into your body, into your bones, into your blood pressure and your sleep and the expression on your face when you think nobody is watching. When you get old, truly old, you discover very quickly that you do not have the strength to carry what does not belong to you. Anger almost never belongs to you. Peace keeps the mind cleaner than worry ever will. I chose peace so many times that eventually peace started choosing me back. People always want to know my secret. They want one thing, one answer. One pill, or one food, or one habit they can start tomorrow that will give them what I have. I understand why they want that, but I cannot give it to them, honestly, because there is no one thing, there never was. It is 1,000 small things done consistently over a very long time by someone who decided quietly, privately, without any announcement that they were going to keep going. But if I had to give you 3 things, just 3, the 3 things I believe helped me most. Here they are. First, never stop using your mind. Not hard, not fast, not in ways that exhaust you or fill you with anxiety. Just gentle, consistent use. Count your steps out loud sometimes. Say the days of the week when you wake up. Read a little something every day. Repeat things until they feel familiar. A mind that is used kindly, treated with patience and consistency the way you would tend a garden, does not forget itself so easily. It stays present. It stays warm. Second, keep your body moving in whatever way you honestly can, even if it is simply standing up and sitting back down, even if it is a slow walk from one room to the next, even if it is stretching your hands open and closed while you sit in your chair. Stillness, held too long, makes the mind sleepy too. The body and the mind are not separate systems. What happens to one happens to the other. Move your body and your mind follows. Let your body go still forever and your mind will eventually follow it into that stillness too. Third, and this one is the one people underestimate the most, do not live alone inside yourself. Talk to people, sit with them, listen when they speak, really listen, not just waiting for your turn. Say names out loud, remember birthdays, ask how someone is doing and mean it when you ask. Memory is tied to connection in ways that science is only beginning to understand, and that I understood simply from living long enough to watch what happened to the people around me. The ones who stayed connected to other people stayed shocked. The ones who withdrew into silence, who stopped needing anyone, faded faster than anyone expected. We were not made to be alone. Not fully. Not permanently. And no amount of independence or self-sufficiency changes that fundamental truth about what keeps a human being alive and present. I cannot tell you how long you will live. I cannot promise you that if you follow everything I just said you will reach 106. I would not make that promise to anyone because life does not work that way and I have too much respect for you to pretend otherwise. But I can tell you what I know from the inside of a very long life. The years that felt the most alive were never the years when everything was easy. They were the years when I was paying attention, when I was present, when I was connected to the people around me and honest about what my body and mind needed and patient. enough to give those things to myself without waiting for someone else to give them to me first. Use your body while you have it. Use your mind gently and consistently. Eat food your grandmother would recognize without reading the label. Do not rush your life away chasing something that keeps moving further away the faster you run. Stay connected to people. Say names. Listen deeply. Show up. And on the mornings when getting up feels like the hardest thing in the world, get up anyway. Because if you are still breathing, you are still living. And living done slowly, done with care, done with gratitude for the ordinary moments that most people rush past without noticing. That is what kept me here this long. I am Dothy Mae Caldwell. I am 106 years old, and I am still here.